It's an absolute pleasure to have you all with us today. If you're new to a Think Productive Ninja Skill Booster, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. For those of you that haven't met me, my name is Ninja Matt or Matt Cowdroy. I am absolutely passionate about helping you enjoy your work. And if you can enjoy your work, you can enjoy your life. And at Think Productive, this is what we're all about. So please get in touch with us if you have any questions, if you would like any help with your work or your life. We're here to help. It's a pleasure to have you here. We are a global organization that's all about helping you love Mondays. Our head office is in the UK. I'm the owner of the business here in Australia and New Zealand, and we absolutely love supporting you to love your work. So thank you for joining us. If you're a regular and you've come back for more, welcome back. The rules of the road for today. Please take some notes. Today's all about feedback. And if you take some notes, as you know, in all of our workshops and our webinars, we do some action planning at the end. So if you've taken some notes on the way through, you'll be able to get better actions at the end. I'm just looking at the chat here. Everyone's saying hello, beautiful. Good morning, good morning. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands that we're all coming from today. I am coming from Guringai country, the northern beaches of Sydney, and I'd like to acknowledge the elders past, present, and emerging, and thank them for taking such good care of this beautiful land over tens of thousands of years. And welcome to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us today. Hello, hello, hello. Please use the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat over here as we go. We will use it for some interaction. Feel free to put in any comments there. If I miss it, put it in again and keep trying. Thanks, Abby and Helen. I can see you've put the name of some of the custodians in your original custodians in your area as well. So today's content workshop that we need to talk, replace fear with clarity when giving feedback. That's what the workshop's all about. Today's all about this feedback without fear. It's some snippets from that workshop. So let's start by looking at feedback. What is it? Shortly, I'm going to ask you what you think about feedback. But what actually is feedback? We define it as the process of supporting an individual on their path towards a certain number of things. Maintaining a standard of performance or behavior, achieving an objective or a goal, celebrating, improving a delivered product or service. And here comes the kicker. It's meant to reinforce or redirect with the goal of achieving a pre-agreed outcome. So those last 3.5 words, pre-agreed outcome, that's the key for me in this. It's not feedback if you haven't agreed a goal or a standard of behavior or some values in your team or something like that. If you haven't done that, it's just an opinion, or it's just your thoughts, or it's providing some direction or some coaching. Feedback's different to coaching. Feedback is there's an outcome, we've agreed, and we're adjusting on the way there. That's why we've got the rocket ship here. Apparently NASA used this word feedback as a way of directing their astronauts towards their goal, because it's constant redirection, okay? Feedback, the word, started as a engineering term. It was more of a mechanical kind of thing, getting feedback about machines and things. It was quite technical. And then in the mid-1900s, it started transitioning into this more cultural piece or work-related piece. So it's interesting when we think about that background, might be one of the reasons why it brings up a bit of fear in some of us as well. So how do you feel about feedback? I'd love you to just put a few words in the chat for us, just to see what comes up for you when you think about giving or receiving feedback. I'll read some of these out for the recording. They're flying past. It's not criticism, it's guidance. Embrace it. Comments for change. Nervous, excited. It's good as long as there are clear examples. Nice. Seeing your definition, I think mostly we're getting opinions. It's to be helpful. No feedback is worse than bad feedback. I think that's what that one said. Yeah. Bad feedback is bad. Let's just say bad, capital letters. Appreciate the feedback so you know you're on track. I wish I could receive constructive feedback more often. Yeah, some interesting points here about welcoming feedback. Something we're going to talk about today is if we get better at receiving feedback, more positive about receiving feedback, it changes our brain so that we get better at actually giving feedback. Oh, so many comments here. I'll put a lot of these in the follow-up email for today as well, and in the chat, in the recording. Learning opportunity. Feedback tends to be about people's opinions. Giving is a reflection on me. Yes, thanks, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Welcome back. Love it, but it still makes me nervous. Worry about how it will impact the other person as well. Yeah. Love feedback as it helps me on my working journey. Observations of things that could improve your performance. Thank you, everyone. So many beautiful comments there, and you're all on the right track. So we're kind of defining feedback there. I'd like to just dig in a little bit deeper here about your feelings about feedback. Just a couple of thoughts about when you hear these words. Hey, can we have a chat? Or we need to talk, whether you hear them or you give them. What does it bring up for you? Let's just put some emotions in the chat now. What do you feel? I know a lot of you said you feel positive about it, you like it, it's a learning opportunity. Fear, curiosity, poop. I like that. Thanks, Nico. Fear. So here comes a lot of the truth now. We've got away from just the defining, but the truth. Nervous, depends on the person, subjective, pause, take a breath. Yes. So this is what happens. This concept of high functioning fear is worth digging into. So this idea was actually created by one of our ninjas in the UK, Ninja Grace. So a nod to Ninja Grace. Thank you for this. When we experience fear, so think about this from the moment of you're about to give feedback to someone and what they might be experiencing. It's quite easy when receiving feedback to get into this fearful state. So this person might be a high-performing person. They might even be willing to receive the feedback. But when this fear comes up and our amygdala activates, we start reacting. We might start pushing back or defending. This is the fight. We might want to prove why we did what we did rather than just receive the feedback because we're in this reaction. Definitely worth making a note of some of these things. We might flight. Flighting is wanting to avoid, procrastinate. Oh, can we have this conversation tomorrow? Delay it. Freeze. The person might just be stuck, looking at you like a deer in the headlights, right? Or fawn. Fawning is like, some people call this a dirty yes. I'm agreeing, I'm apologizing, I'm looking for your approval. So these are good things to just look out for when we are giving feedback to someone, how they might be responding. And these can be indications that they're in this fearful state. So if they are in this fearful state, it's important to slow down. It's important to slow down and see if we can all come back to a present state rather than a reactive, high-functioning, fearful state. Now, these might also show up when giving the feedback. Any of this might start happening. You might start wanting to prove why you're giving the feedback. You might appear a bit more aggressive than normal. You might be fawning. Is it okay that I give you this feedback? So these are all good things to be considering. So when we think about great feedback, giving or receiving, Graham, the founder of Our Business Globally and the author of the Productivity Ninja book, wrote this book, Kind, last year, I think it was. Beautiful book, all about the power of kindness at work. And a quote from this: learn to give it graciously. Learn to receive it graciously, and you'll be able to give it kindly. This is on this area that I mentioned around getting better at receiving feedback. If we start here, it's going to help us with the giving. Learn to say thank you. Learn to see it as a gift. This starts to change our brain. If we can start to change our brain around feedback, it's going to make it easier to give. The brain is a muscle. So the more we give it these positive messages, it's going to change. The neuroplasticity kicks in. Our brain starts to think, feedback. Yes, it's time to give or receive feedback. See it as an opportunity for improving, not proving. Keep listening. Keep the ears open. And always remember, when giving or receiving, we get to choose what to do with the feedback. We get to make a choice around how to respond. Is it true or not? And what sort of actions we might take from it. Now, there's an interesting, I'm just looking at any more comments in the chat here. Okay, great. Now, in Graham's book, Kind, he defines the difference between being nice and being kind. This is a really important piece of clarity, really important definition, if you like. If we're being nice, it's for me. I know it says for you there, but if I'm being nice, it's for my benefit. If you're being nice, it's for your benefit. Whereas if you're being kind, it's for the other person, right? Nice is just to make me feel good, but kind is to provide the other person some benefit. Nice is telling people what they want to hear, whereas kind is telling them what they need to hear. In your observation, of course, we need to check that out with them. But it's nice to see this definition, important to see this definition. Kindness is the truth, but the truth needs to be delivered with a high level of emotional intelligence. And with the emotional intelligence here, it's about being highly aware of the other person's emotional state. So we make sure they're not in that high functioning fear. A beautiful definition of kindness is a bit like salted caramel. Now you might think, what's this all about? They're like two things that don't really seem to belong together, caramel and salt. Kindness is the same. Truth and grace. Two things that are a little bit different sometimes to bring together. But when we bring together the truth and the kindness, the truth and the emotional intelligence, truth and the awareness of the other person's state, it's kindness. So I love this definition. If you're a visual person, you'll always be able to think of this image. You might even be able to taste that salted caramel. And when you're next in that opportunity to provide some feedback, you'll think, okay, these two things. Here's my salted caramel moment, right? This might be all you get out of today's webinar, salted caramel, but that will matter. That will make a difference. Now, just give me a second here. Sorry to interrupt the webinar, but I have a little doggy here that needs some attention as well. Lily scratching on the door. Do you need some feedback about that? All right. There we go. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of comments in the chat now about the dog. Hi, Lily. Thanks, Erin. Stop it. What a precious one. I'll just let her out. Sorry. There we go. As many of you know, one of our ninja characteristics is human, not superhero, which is life goes on. There we go. Dogs need love. Now, let's keep rolling here. Oh, hello, puppy. She's gone out. She's got to go. She saw too many people putting poop in the chat. All right, let's talk about some formulas, if you like, for great feedback. Delivering feedback that lands, how to make our feedback really matter, make it kind. It should be specific, not general statements. Let's be specific, always with kindness. It should be frequent. Let's create a culture where feedback is regular and encouraged. It should be balanced. I've heard the formula that should be 5 positive to 1 negatives. I'm not sure if we have to take that to heart, that exact formula, because we're going to be giving so much positive feedback. But it's nice to just think of that. Balance at 5 to 1 if you can, or at least don't forget to give lots of positive feedback along with the constructive feedback. Actionable. So what do I do with this? It will be actionable and relevant if we've started with that specific outcome. Timely. Don't save it up for the end of year review or the quarterly review. And of course, it should be kind. So there's a lot in here, right? There's a lot of rules here. Karen, we don't share the slides, but we do record this and share the recording. So you'll be able to take screenshots and whatever you like from the recording. Okay, what else is in the chat here? Alison, I don't like to refer to feedback as negative. I believe all feedback is good and should be constructive. I agree. Yeah, thank you for that. So that if I've been using the word negative, maybe that's just referring to how it might land for people or what people might be thinking about it. But definitely think of it as constructive. So of course, in our workshop, we do practices, we do in the full workshop, we do breakouts, all sorts of things. So people get to practice different feelings around this, different methods, different ideas. So just a few more little concepts to take in mind in terms of changing our brain around feedback. See it as a gift. You're investing in someone's growth. It's a skill. We need to practice. Planning and practice. Plan the conversations. Think about the specific outcome. Think about how you're going to say it. What words are you going to use? Now, this one's key. It's a dialogue, not a monologue. When doing it, ask for their feedback, ask for their thoughts, ask for their responses to this. It's not a dump and run, right? It's not a dump and run. And think of it as strengthening the relationship. So I recently gave some feedback to one of my trainers. Not sure if you're here today, that trainer. And it was so beautifully received, so beautifully taken on board. Actions have been taken, changes are happening, and the relationship is stronger as a result. And yes, I was nervous. Of course, I was nervous giving that feedback because he's a professional person who's good at what they do. Yet I wanted to share some thoughts. Now, you might catch me out here. Was there a pre-agreed outcome? Yeah, pre-agreed outcome is always to deliver our workshops with excellence. That's probably a little bit vague, to be honest. But I just had some thoughts on how to make the workshop better. But I think that's okay. Yeah. So lots to think about here today. I want to give you a moment now to reflect. As you know, in our workshops, there's always time to take some positive actions out of the content. So the content that I've shared now, I'd like you to think about what are 3 actions or just light bulb moments or thoughts that you've taken from this content so far. I'm going to bring up some slides as you think, just as a prompters. What are 3 actions? I'd love you to just put one of these in the chat as well, please, so we can see what's landing. All right, so the actions are planning feedback, more planning, reflect on the purpose, opportunity to build relationships. Depends on the person. Timing is key. Celebrating and improving. Relevant. How and why it links to pre-agreed outcomes. Nice. Start first with receiving it graciously. Achievable actions, timing and frequency. Focus on being kind and not nice. Thanks, Nick. Strengthen the relationship. That strengthening the relationship idea is a positive one. It's an encouraging one if you hold back from giving feedback. Not sure if anyone put salted caramel in the chat. I'm not sure. To me, that's a moment to go. That's something I can remember that, okay, truth and grace. Let's be kind, truth and grace. All right, so we've only just scratched the surface. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing some of your time with me this morning and with each other. These sessions are designed to be short and punchy so you can then get on with your day. I do have a prize to give away, so stay on the line. We'd have this full workshop called We Need to Talk, which we can run for your organizations and teams. If you'd like any details on that, it's on the website, but also get in touch. In terms of upcoming events, we've got some public workshops coming up. These public workshops are designed to be an opportunity for individuals to buy tickets if you're not in a position in your team or organization where you want to book a full workshop with us. So some great workshops coming up.